This podcast may contain adult material. Mature audiences only, please.
Welcome back to Me and Mrs. Always Right. I am your host, Me.
And I'm Mrs. Always Right.
Coming to you live from that little trailer park in Fort Davis, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what's special about Fort Davis?
Tell me. Wait.
It is the highest city in Texas. I have my measurements right here.
Oh, okay.
I'm official, but I got to get there. Hang on.
Okay.
The elevation here is 4,892 feet. Fort Davis, Texas. It's an unincorporated town. It's not the highest point in Texas. That's down along the Rio Grande Valley, but that is the highest spot in Texas where people live.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, there I go with so again. No fireball. God damn it.
I know.
So, fuck. What are you looking at?
I think that I've been there. Is it down towards? No.
Not even close.
No, not at all.
No.
Right? Down
No.
towards like Victoria and all that. It's
No,
not?
It's not.
Okay. I don't know what I was thinking then. There is a
That you're crazy.
Fort something
Worth,
down that
Fort
way.
Hood,
No,
Fort-
maybe it's, I don't know. I
Fort
don't
Hood's
know.
in Killeen.
Okay. That could be it.
But
I don't
anyway,
know.
welcome to
Yeah.
Me and Mrs. Always Right, where we teach you how to get through marriage, like with a crazy wife or with a woman who won't shut up. I can
Vouch for that.
I can walk you through how to stop that.
Piss her off so she don't talk to you?
No, you get gifts.
Who gets gifts?
Well, I mean, I do for having to put up with you, but
Oh, I thought you bought her gifts. So.
who would do that?
Well, apparently not you. That's
Oh.
for sure. So,
So
no,
how-
I mean, how to shut up a wife is you really piss her off just so she doesn't talk to you.
Well, thanks for the
then-
advice.
But then it makes things a little uncomfortable
For
around
who?
the house.
Not for who?
Well, not for me.
Not for me either.
Oh, okay. Well, just piss me off anytime. I won't talk to you. Be fine.
I mean, I thought I pissed you off all the time.
Okay, well, you do. No, I'm just kidding.
How was your week?
My week was good, I guess. I mean, work is always there.
Did you work hard?
I always work hard, unlike somebody else I know.
I work hard. Sometimes it's just from home. Really hard.
Or from the restaurant, having lunch.
People gotta eat.
Or, well, I don't get all that special luxury, and I feel I should. I'm older than you.
Change jobs.
And no, I don't want to.
All right, then.
Okay.
Shut up.
Well, that's probably best.
I'm
then.
just kidding. I love you. So,
Well, I love you too.
Do you really?
What do you want? No, I'm just
You
kidding.
know what I want.
I know what you want. You always want.
We
That's
went
let's
to,
just do that.
we took a little quick trip up to Wichita Falls yesterday.
did,
Went to visit family.
We did. We have a wedding coming up. A wedding cake.
I think you've already
My
said
favorite.
that 6 times
You know what?
in the last
and I'm
2
probably
episodes.
going to say it every single time till I get wedding cake. Because I love
So if you had
wedding
to
cake.
choose
Okay. If I had to choose.
between wedding cake
Yes.
and dick,
A wedding cake.
that's fucked up.
Sorry. I shouldn't have even let you go to the second
Yeah?
option because wedding
You-
cake is
Wedding cake.
wedding cake. I love wedding cake. I want to be a wedding cake taster.
I think you
just
should be a
go-
wedding cake baker.
I want to be a wedding
Crasher.
A wedding crasher.
Babe.
And just go to weddings of people I don't even know. But this gives me a chance to dress up nice. Gives me something to do.
outside of the trailer park.
Outside of the trailer park, you are correct. And it gives me a chance to do something on a weekend night that maybe we don't have plans going on or anything like that. And you can come with me if you want. We can always do matchy type outfits.
I don't know how I'm going to do at strangers' weddings.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to take you anyway because a lot of weddings you have alcohol, and when alcohol's involved, you turn into a different person.
Sign me up.
Nope, not taking you. I'm just there for the cake.
If I go to the store and buy a cake that's intended for a wedding, but it doesn't pass through the wedding to get to you, is that still a wedding cake?
Well, you just can't buy just wedding cake at just your average Albertsons or anything like that.
I beg to differ. If I buy a cake and take it to a wedding, it then becomes wedding cake.
Right.
Thank you.
But I can tell you wedding cake actually is made different from your normal everyday yellow cake or whatever. They
use different ovens?
Yes. It's shaped different. No,
that's about all I know. It's got a guy and a girl on top. Sometimes a guy and a guy, or a girl
a lot
and a
of
girl.
times they have like a filler in it, like a strawberry or whatever. That one wedding that we went to, some of your friends, several years back, had the best. Oh my God, that cake was so good. It had like almost like a strawberry jam in it or whatever, and I probably could have ate my weight in that
jammed
cake.
enough of it in your fucking mouth.
I probably did. I can tell you I have had terrible wedding. I'm sorry. You know I'm going to be talking about you. I've had cake that I wasn't fond of. Because I can't say it's terrible.
I love the way you try to be nice.
Well, I can't say it was terrible because to rich, fancy people, that's good cake to them, I guess. But it's more, the cake I'm speaking of was more like a flan type cake.
Have no idea what that means.
Okay, it's kind of like a cheesecake-ish.
Okay.
But it's kind of jello-y, and it has a glaze over it.
I'm completely lost.
It was, you didn't like it either, I can tell you that right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So we were at a rich and fancy place with an elevator.
Yeah.
At a wedding.
Not in this city?
Not in this city. In a city out a little ways.
Oh, in Texas, though.
It was in Texas, yes.
I have no idea who we're talking about. You can tell me later.
Okay. I can't think of anything that rhymes with his name.
No, we're good. Just
Okay.
let people keep thinking they serve the worst fucking wedding cake ever, okay?
No, I mean, if you didn't serve like a flan wedding cake whose the bride's father was a baker, a chef or whatever, and so it was fancy,
You know,
and
flan-
it wasn't good. I
Flan-
didn't like it.
And Devan mean the same fucking thing to me. I have no fucking idea what that means.
Okay.
I am lost.
Okay.
Send me a map so I can get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Okay.
And I need to, because we are talking wedding
Flan.
cakes. Yeah.
Flan.
I need to speak
Rhymes with lawn.
Yes, and it tasted like it
tastes
came
like-
off the lawn. It was
fucked
gross.
up.
It was. I did not enjoy it. In fact, I got a small slice of it, and I had one bite, I think, and I couldn't.
You must have been so disappointed.
I was so
because I know how you look
disappointed.
forward to wedding cake.
Oh my God,
and then you get dressed up and you go participate in the wedding.
Yeah.
And then you get there and you're like,
it wasn't good. I should have got me something to drink because all this talk of wedding cake has made my throat dry.
pass the beer. You don't even like that beer.
It's liquid. It'll work.
So
but
what's
I
on?
need to wait.
Nope,
So,
wait.
I
Shut
need
up.
to speak to our grandson who's getting married and find out if they're going to have a filling in their wedding cake or not, or if it's just going to be plain wedding cake like our niece's was in Louisiana that we went to. And it was delicious. Remember us taking pictures at every table?
Yeah, that was, they
yeah.
had the disposable camera.
Yeah.
So they had disposable cameras at every table, and we went and did a selfie on every fucking camera
Every single one. She did happen to mention that to us as well.
Yeah.
She thought it was funny. She liked it. They thought it was
We
cool.
make our presence known.
We
one
definitely
way
do.
or another.
One way or another, we definitely do. Definitely do. So, I was glancing through the email.
What? Whoa, number one, you
I
opened a
know.
computer?
You know what? Had it not opened on the email, I probably couldn't have done it.
Because
But-
typically I got to come open them up for you
I know.
and start it and everything. Congratulations. I think
Thank
you're
you.
learning.
Oh, thank you. Thank
welcome.
you. But I did jot down a couple of email questions that we had from a couple of different listeners that we have, and we want to thank you very much for sending the questions.
Me and Mrs. Always Right at gmail.com.
Oh, I like
See
how
how I
you
did that? I
that.
know.
Look at you.
It's almost like I got a knack for radio.
So, now when we go out fancy, because you've let your hair grow out, we normally do braid it. We French braid it on each side, so you have 2 braids.
Yeah.
So it's not unruly. It's, down, and it looks nice. I'm not going to lie. It looks good.
It doesn't look nice.
Yeah,
It looks sexy as fuck.
Okay, well, that too. So, but we do have an email that wants to know, so what's the story of how the braids came to be?
Well, fellow listener,
Uh-huh.
one day I decided to grow my hair out.
Which took longer than one day.
It did. And that all that all started. So when we met,
Yes.
I had zero hair.
Zero
Because I
hair.
hated hair.
Yes.
I hated having to
It's
take.
too hot. It makes my head sweat.
It
But you
did.
did have a goatee. You had no hair, no facial hair or on your head except for a goatee.
Right.
A little mustache and a goatee.
A little mustache.
I mean, is it goatee? Is that considered the mustache and the little beard?
And the beard around the chin.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay. All right. So that's all you had. You shaved your head a lot.
For about 7 years when we were together, I hated it. I hated hair. I hated brushing it. I hated having to. I wanted to be able to get up, wipe my ass, and go wherever I needed to go and not worry about my hair.
Right. Right.
And plus, I mean, the job I did. I mean, I didn't like sweating.
Nobody likes sweating, honey. I don't like sweating either.
But you eventually talked me into growing my hair out, and somebody once told me to be professional, you got to look professional,
right?
And the problem with my head being shaved was
you look like a Nazi.
I did, and I remember a very specific day when I was at work and we were doing they wanted to do a Christmas card with everybody in the plant in the picture.
Right.
And they came up to me and they're like, hey, and the thing that pisses me off is the way
Can you wear a hat?
Yeah, well, they straight up, if they would have walked up to me and said, hey, you kind of look like you belong in prison, with your tattoos and your shaved head. Can you wear this Christmas hat? I would have put the damn hat on.
You know what? Knowing your attitude, I can see where you would have said, fuck y'all. I wear my hair like I want to.
Well, I did because, and you're right, because the way they came up to me was trying to play it off like, oh, you're the crazy one that'll wear the Santa hat. They wanted me to cover my head because they didn't want their company to appear,
right?
Have somebody. But man, everybody that worked there, we're just manufacturing people.
Right. Okay.
What do we have to live up to? You go work anywhere and you're going to have that one person that looks undesirable, but they're a fucking great worker. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. That would be me. No,
and that was, God damn, what was that? 10 years ago?
A long time ago.
And now, with tattoo outside of QT, that's the only place you ever see people have to bandage up their tattoos, And
Right.
I don't know where people work now of tattoo, where I'm in customer service, and I got tattoos showing on my arms.
Right.
Nothing said, because where I go in to service the customers,
They
most
have
tattoos. Yeah,
I know things are way more acceptable now than they were even 10 years ago. Absolutely.
But then the Rona hit. And the Rona hit just as we were going to Key West, remember?
Right. Well, now before the Rona, you did grow your hair out because you did get it cut several times.
Like I said,
almost like regular guy's haircut, regular what they call regular
just a
boy's
regular,
haircut.
a fade and where I can
right. And it looked very nice. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, to be professional, you gotta look professional, right? And I started wearing polo shirts, and because I have to move up,
Yes.
Can't look like a thug.
All your life, you can't. No, you have to grow up.
And so I went a couple 3 years, 4 years with my hair like that, and then and then the Rona hit. And the Rona hit, so I went and got a haircut.
Yes.
and we went and got on a plane, and we
Yes.
flew to Key West.
No, I think your hair was already growing out at Key West.
No.
Okay.
No, I got my hair cut before we went to Key West. And then right we got back, all this Rona shit hit. And then
Yeah.
all the barbers closed.
Yes.
You know, and then so you're 2 or 3 months, you're like, I need a haircut. And then you know what? I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna grow it out.
Right.
And hang on.
And there were several times while you were growing it out that you hated it.
Because it's awkward and you can't do nothing with it. And
Right.
it just
It
looks
gets
like
to a
it just looks like
certain
you don't
length.
give a fuck. Right.
It gets to a certain length and you can't put it up, but you can't wear it down. And you just, I get it. But you
So
did comb it back.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. My remedy to that was pomade, right?
Yes.
Went and got some pomade and I
Yep.
greased this shit back and it stayed down.
Yep. And it looked
then-
good.
Yeah, it
looked
looked
good.
good. And then now it's long enough to put back in a ponytail and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching so we used to be fans of Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, I think we've seen every
episode. And and they brought out the Mayans and a couple of seasons went by and I'm like, well, I'm going to watch the Mayans.
Uh-huh.
And coming into that, if you're familiar with the character Nestor, that's the way he wears his hair. And I'm like, that looks bad. That dude looks like he could prison shank anybody.
Oh yeah, he definitely does.
You know?
I mean, they got a great actor
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
I mean, he looks the part.
And
He looks gangsta.
Yes,
as
he does.
hell. I'm not gonna lie.
and I thought it looked badass, and so I asked you to do it. But the first time you did it backwards.
Right. There's two ways to French braid. One is where the braid is, let's say, under your hair, so your hair is smooth. And then you can do it over. I know it's actually called something else. You can do it over to where the braid actually is on top of your hair. So it's actually standing up a little bit. Your hair's not smooth.
You can see the braid. Right.
very well. Yes.
And that's the way I wanted it done, and it looks badass. And
Yeah.
when we go out, I like to have it put up like that.
Yeah, and you definitely get compliments on it.
I remember the
lot.
first time, so we went to El Chico, and this lady was just like staring, and I'm like, "What's up with that?" Right?
Look, I think I'm fucking sexy.
And
I'm
no,
just
and she
kidding.
right. Well,
No, I get it. I
I
get
mean,
it.
if the jockstrap fits.
Well, there you go.
But,
there you go.
No, and she looked over and complimented my hair, and
Yeah.
of course I gave props to you because you're the one who not designed it, but did the work to it. So,
Right.
yeah, and since then, I haven't braided it in a while, but
No, but we definitely try to braid it if we go out on the bike or anything like that.
well, and that's another
know.
thing too. With it braided, I don't get all the knots and shit
Right.
from riding the bike.
Right.
So
And it does look good. Like I said, it keeps your hair out of your face, and it's more managed, and I like it, and it looks good. And
hell yeah,
now
well, that's all
you're-
that matters, then, isn't it?
Now you're never gonna cut your hair again.
I've just I like the way it looks.
It does look good.
Whether it's braided or pulled back or just down. When we went to the bar Friday night, I wore it down,
You did.
and I like the way it looks, and I don't ever want to go through the awkward grow out period again. So when I interviewed for this job that I have now, and my beard was much longer. Remember?
It was.
Because I grew the beard and everything with the hair.
Well, I think, didn't you start growing the beard long before you really started growing the hair? Because
But
you're
I
like,
just-
I want to look like a barker dude.
Well, I just let it
like
go.
Grizzly Adams. or
Right, I just
whatever.
let it go.
Oh, yeah, it was unruly.
And so I'm like, I had this job interview, and I'm like, I don't want to look homeless. You're like, but I'm like, I don't want to cut my hair, so I trimmed my beard
Right. And so, thank
And-
God you didn't look like Grizzly
and
Adams.
greased the
Homeless
shit
Grizzly
out of my
Adams.
hair. Pulled it away, and that was when it was still kind of short, and I had to put it in 2 ponytails to keep it all the way back. But
Right.
now I got to do that, and I'm
No.
incredibly hot. So,
Oh, absolutely.
but that's how the braids came about. I copied it off of a badass off of a TV show.
Yeah, and he definitely looks like a badass. He fits that role so bad.
Him or me?
So good.
Him.
He fits
He
the
does,
role
yes.
very well. And when your hair is braided, it looks very nice.
I'm a little tubby. Maybe.
But your
I don't
hair
know.
looks good.
All right,
That's
good,
all I'm
fine,
saying.
great,
Your hair
awesome.
looks good.
Thank you, baby.
Well, you're welcome, honey. So, we have another question too. I don't think this is gonna last very long. It says, so are there any travel stories where you almost died? Okay, you know
Every time I ride with you, I almost
fuck
die.
you.
Every time you drive, I almost die.
No, I mean, y'all know my travel story where I almost died, and I really almost died.
When your mom fell asleep
yes, when
driving?
my mom fell asleep driving. Oh my God. Oh God. So, I mean, that's definitely when I almost died.
I wasn't traveling at this time. I was still in high school.
Uh-huh.
And I had bought this car. It was my second car. It was a 1977 Dodge Challenger.
Oh,
And-
look at you, fancy.
No.
Oh, okay.
This is right after Dodge Chrysler had partnered with Mitsubishi.
Uh-huh.
And they canceled the badass hot rod Charger
Right.
and brought out this 4-cylinder
Girly.
import. Yeah,
No,
well,
it
it wasn't girly, but this thing was junk though. The windows wouldn't roll down, and
you bought it used, I'm just assuming.
cheap as fuck too. And I didn't have a license. I didn't get my license to drive till I was like 19.
Oh, wow.
But I've been driving since I was 14.
Okay.
And
No, actually, you started driving long before that when you almost killed your sister and the guy on the motorcycle.
did I ever tell that story?
Um,
Because you brought it up, and I don't want to repeat, but just for argument's sake,
okay.
I mean, you've opened the can.
Yes.
And so talk about almost dying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I've told this story, and this
you
is
might
it where you
have,
to
but
go.
it's a good story. It is a good
It-
story.
You know what? You go through and check, and then if not, we'll retell it. Okay.
Okay.
But I was going to I dropped out of high school at this time,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going up there to I had that car. I was going up there to pick up some friends, so I drive up to the high school,
Uh-huh.
pick them up, and we start coming home. Well, coming home, there's this. It kind of this road. It drops into a little valley, downhill, uphill, and then there's a stoplight.
Okay.
Well, I just floored it, man, and I went to make it gradual right turn downhill.
Uh-huh.
Well, the car got light, and the back end started coming around, and I'm sliding
Oh.
completely sideways.
Now, do you have your friends in the car
Yes,
with you at
of
this
course I
time?
do.
Oh, okay.
Your future roommate and a
Okay.
couple of others.
Okay.
And do you remember the Fox? You remember when Fox was Channel 33 here?
Yes.
All right, and they
Yes.
had this. So they had this Astro van with Fox 33, and I start sliding, and here comes that van. It was that. Remember it? It was that van, and I'm like, I'm about to die.
And kill everybody with me.
I didn't care about them. I'm
Okay.
about to die. And it's going to be from this shitty ass Chevy Astro van. And at the last moment, it was like the car got grip, spun 180 degrees around the van. I went uphill going the wrong way and then parked on the curb. Or, I was actually facing the right way, but we were going backwards.
Yeah.
And I parked on the curb. And I'm like, I meant to do that shit.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm sure your future roommate can probably tell you.
There's probably so many other
Oh, my
stories, I'm
God.
sure.
Man, the jump in the Honda. Yeah. Him rolling his car in the mud. There's plenty, but
Wow. I can tell you, I didn't think about it at the time, but my SOB got his license before I did because he was older.
it's smarter.
He was older. And anyway, so he had this, apparently our first cars were all boats. I'm not going to lie, because he was driving, what was it exactly? I want to say a 68 Chevy Impala
Okay.
or something, a big old long boat like my Ford
Okay.
was. Okay. So this big long boat. So it's me and my brother, my SOB, and there's a couple of other people with us. I want to say one was my best friend, who is still my best friend for me saying purposes. We don't see each other or really talk a whole lot, but still my best friend. So
There's another story you reminded me of. But go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So anyway, or it could have been somebody else. I don't know, but it was me and my SOB and one or two other people in the car. We're going down 35 southbound. Why are you looking at me like
Okay,
that?
what?
Oh, okay. So we're going down 35 southbound towards the Burleson area. And it's a weekend. I want to say it was probably like a Sunday or something like that. And when you first get your license, you got to drive fast.
I mean, do you?
Yeah, yes, you think you have to drive fast, especially
I
guys.
I did. But
Exactly.
yeah.
Especially guys, they drive much faster than girls do when they first get their license because they think they're invincible. So we're driving down the highway, and he's going a pretty good click. This was way back in the day when speed limit was like 55 or some shit like that. And I think we were doing 65 or 70.
I mean, that's a pretty good click.
At the time, yes.
Oh, okay, go
and he's
ahead.
driving this huge boat. So we get almost to the exit that we're going to take, and traffic is stopped all the way across the highway.
Probably some other teenage driver had a
Oh,
wreck.
it probably
But anyway,
was.
go ahead.
And my whole life flashed before my eyes. I was like, oh my
All
God.
6 minutes of it or
Yes.
what? Yeah.
We're going to hit this car in front of us and we're all going to die. So he just jerked the wheel. We didn't slide or anything like that, but he jerked the wheel over enough that we went down in it's almost like a little ravine with an uphill.
We call that a ditch, but go ahead.
Well, but the way it was, it is a ditch, but you have the service road on the right-hand side. So we go down in this ditch and we're still going pretty fast. And he goes up the hill and he gets onto the service road. Luckily, there was no cars on the service road at this time. And he's like, yep, meant to do that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. But it's funny because I did notice it was probably a year or so later after that in the ditch by the service road about the area that all this happened, they did put a fence along there, like one of the wire rope type fences or whatever. Luckily it wasn't there when we went over that, because that probably would have really tore the car up and flipped us or something, I don't know. So
Yeah, probably.
yeah, but I almost died, I guess a couple of times.
Well, glad you didn't.
Me too. I'm glad I didn't. So when I was talking, you said something about reminding you of a story.
So, and I mean that literally, like so.
So what happened was,
We were talking about grade school boyfriends and girlfriends.
Oh, this is a great story. So yes, we went to Wichita Falls this weekend. We visited family. We went out to lunch, and we just happened to be talking way back in the day. Going
16
to
years
school.
later. It takes 16 years to hear this, okay?
You know what? We've
No.
never talked about it,
Stop.
so it's never come up.
I had a job, and this was before we met.
Okay, well, I knew a guy. This is before we met.
And
Let
so
me tell my story.
I
pretty much have to tell my story first.
Fine, go.
Okay, so when you're young, middle school or whatever, you have a boyfriend, girlfriend or whatever that you love, or you really like, or you just have a good time with or whatever. And it's like, for whatever reason, you never forget these people. Well, I had a boyfriend back when I was in middle school that, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I've never forgotten his name. We never kissed. We never, we were just boyfriend, girlfriend at school. I don't even think he ever called me or something. I don't even know. But I just remember how sweet the guy was.
You must have met your mom.
No, I don't think he ever come to my house or anything.
I wouldn't have called you either if I'd have met her first.
I don't know, whatever. But I just, you just remember, I just remember him being so sweet. And everybody was like, why is he your boyfriend? And I'm like, why not? And they're like, well, he's a little bit heavier than, the athletic football players. I don't give a fuck. He's a nice guy. He's sweet.
You're obviously into pecker size, not size. So.
So anyway, so somehow or another, we're talking about this, and I remember this story from way, way, way back in the day when we rode dinosaurs to school. And we happen to be talking about that, and I bring up this guy's name because I'll never forget it. I don't know why.
Either.
And then my husband jumps in with...
The fuck you talking about, Willis? So as it turns out, I feel, and it's not verified.
No, we haven't verified anything yet.
But the commonalities along this story all fit that this guy was my boss at one point in time before we met.
Way before we met.
I don't know how it takes me 16 years.
Because we've never talked about,
Because when you mentioned his name, which we're not going to mention here.
No, we're not going to mention his name at all. You freaked the fuck out and you're like, are you serious? And I'm like,
I didn't freak out. I didn't freak out like mad. I just you want to talk about
coincidences.
You and I have, before we have met, have been in such the same area.
So many coincidences on us meeting. But yes, I thought when you reiterated his name, you were just making fun of me. Oh, I knew him. And
no, I'm like, I knew him.
I didn't know. I thought you were just joking around with me because, you go, oh, I knew the Queen of England. The Queen of England, that's my second cousin, third time removed.
Well, she is.
You see what I'm saying? So I just thought you were messing with me. I didn't know that there's a possibility.
It could be a common, but I don't think it's that common.
No, it's not a very, we did look.
The
it's
size
not a very
fits.
common
The
name.
size fits.
The size fits. He's
the
a bigger
age
guy.
fits.
The age definitely fits.
Yeah.
So it is possible.
I'm going to find out tomorrow.
Okay, I think you should. And I'm going to write down right now that we need to have a discussion on our 6 degrees of separation.
Okay, that's a great topic.
I believe it is. And I'm definitely going to write that down.
You had there's one more question I know that's on there, and I don't know how many more are, but we're running short of time.
Okay, well, we got...
Let's go to the last one.
Okay. So this one was, he wants this listener wants to know. So you will help hide the body and have an alibi. So as long as she's fresh-ish.
Fucked up. But yes.
So you are going to help hide the body and give an alibi.
If she's fresh.
If she's fresh-ish. Okay. All
right.
I gotcha.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate you listening tonight.
Absolutely.
And I have no idea. I'm so lost on that. But we appreciate you listening. If you have any questions or concerns, comments, show ideas, drop us a line at meandmrsalwaysright@gmail.com. Complaints all go to Trevor the intern.
Absolutely. You can also find us on Facebook or Instagram at Me and Mrs. Always Right.
And become a Patreon member where you get pre and post show content right along with unedited episodes. And maybe a fucking keychain. You send me your address.
Yeah, we need
I handed
addresses.
a keychain to the Uber driver. I
I think that's what we need to start doing. Just kind of, passing out keychains.
Yeah.
Hey, check us out.
When you Uber, do it.
I don't Uber often.
Uber guy that drove me to the bar Friday night.
Yes.
And we talked about this podcast. You did an awesome job. It was a pleasure to be in the car with you. That was an enjoyable ride.
Well,
I didn't get
good.
raped. All right,
Well,
I protected myself in the back
That's
seat.
always a plus, right?
But when
there.
I take rides with strangers and don't get raped, it's always good.
That is always a good plus. Yes, you are
All right.
correct.
All right, thanks for the ride, dude. It was a cool ride. So,
and y'all, thank you for listening and come back. We try to get something out every week. No, no guarantee it always happens.
This show's getting horrible.
So sometimes we reach because we don't really spend a lot of week time together, so we don't have a lot of
don't do no
stories.
research. I do all the editing. I do all the.
You do everything.
I do it all.
I know. Oh God, heaven, just you blessed me with this. Oh, anyway.
All right, I love you.
All right. Well,
I mean, I
love
really
you.
do love you as much as I complain sometimes. I
God, I
do
hope you
love
really don't complain, like outside of you and I, and maybe like on the podcast
I think
because
you
we're
know
talking
better.
to you and I.
I think you know better.
Because I don't complain about you to anybody.
That matters.
No, to anybody.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
don't. You ask anybody who I talk to personally when it comes to you, what I say. You go
Okay.
ahead and ask.
Well, I don't know who you talk to personally about
exactly.
me.
Exactly. All right, I love you.
So I love you too, honey.
All right, bye.
Bye.